Hello, everybody, and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where you boys always have something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. Big series sweep and some potential trade rumors now starting to circulate for those Toronto Blue Jays. So lots of stuff to talk about. I'm your host, Nicholas Playalog.
And I'm your host, Adam Peddle. And guys, this was such a fantastic week. Just a side note, boys came back from the cottage, and we came back to a lot of W's. And we absolutely love to see it. Jays went 5-1 this week, which is bringing us back into the AL East. So we're going to take a look at everything there. What are the other teams doing? And also, again, what are the rumors that are happening around the Jays in terms of adding more players or even sending players away? Because look, we're right in this, baby. We could beat the Mets. We could beat the Brewers. We could beat a lot of teams. So let's get into it, folks. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
Hell yeah, guys. Let's start off with some of these potential trade rumors. Now, I know that the hype is real around this sweep, and that's why I think this is actually the perfect time to just quickly put to bed, potentially, some of the stuff that was going on earlier this week. Jeff Passan, he released his entire MLB trade deadline, his predictions. Now, to his credit, in those predictions, when he was going through, he was being very situational. So when he was talking about the Toronto Blue Jays, he was looking at how this would be absolutely massive and how it's almost blasphemous to even say, because probably these things won't happen, but based on the landscape of potentially the American League, there could be a reality where something like this happened, and all of that led him to say Matt Chapman or some of our other rental bats could potentially be on the market if the record slips. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you agree with him? Do you disagree with him? And like, what, just in general, do you think that's something that could happen?
I actually don't think that's something that's going to happen. I think the Blue Jays, like in an ideal world, what are the most attractive pieces that you'd want to see shipped away at the deadline? A guy who's on a career, like his final year of his big contract. You know, Matt Chapman, you want to see him go to a contending ball club, right? Be competitive. He's one of the best third basemen out there. But no, I don't think it's going to happen because the Blue Jays are not going to let it happen. They're going to continue to pursue the wild card series because they're right there, guys. I know we've been going back and forth. We're thinking, oh, the Jays don't have it this year. Oh, look, they have it. The last month has been a struggle. No doubt about it. The schedule's been very tough. But the Blue Jays are competitive, and they're beating other teams that are not the AL East. They're beating them soundly. So I don't think that's going to be enough of a resume, if you will, for this 2023 year to be like, okay, you know what, even though we could or could not make it, we're going to sell them off anyways. I think we're going to be competitive to the end.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we just walked into New York and swept them, right? And even though they're having absolutely an up-and-down year in their own right, and their fans, they were booing their own players coming up to the ball, to the dish, right? It's like that was literally something that happened today. That's still a competitive team, right? So if you're at the place where you can still do that, then I just don't see a reality necessarily where we're shipping off pieces. I think that we would need to have just an absolutely horrendous rest of June and July, and just the landscape too of the American League would have to shift dramatically. So it's so overtly competitive that it's looking like this is way out of reach, and then maybe you cut your losses, but I think that there's like a 5% chance, maybe even less than that. Yeah,
Brandon Belt's not going anywhere. Kevin Kiermaier's not going anywhere. Chapman's not going anywhere. If we were a bad team, my God, we have so many trade pieces, but we're not.
Exactly.
We literally have to make a wild card this year or it's a bust. So there's no way that management's going to shoot themselves in the foot. They got the pieces. You have to trust it. Trade deadline is halfway through the year. Why would I stop? If I'm trading away these guys, it means that I don't believe in my own management. I don't believe the team I built to go through a full 162.
Yeah.
Ain't going to happen, folks. Sorry, Jeff. Sorry, Passan. Sorry, man.
No, I mean, and you know what? Again, to his credit, I think he said that a lot of things would need to happen. So there you have it right there. That's put to bed. Now let's get to some of the stuff that I think might actually be realistic. Adding talent in to the Toronto Blue Jays. Like we've been saying, and we're going to continue to talk about here, guys, we just swept the New York Mets. We just went 5-1 on this week. That seems to me like a team that's much more willing to add come the trade deadline as far as subtract. And one thing that we absolutely continuously need to have is bullpen help. I love Nate Pearson. He's great so far this year, but even he came out and he struggled today, right? Our good guys are going to have that, so just having more depth in that pen. So it's like, okay, if he's having a bad outing, he's having a bad week or something like that, just got, Scott Barlow, you're in, you know?
Right, because to the next point, Scott Barlow right here. We're looking at the Kansas City Royals. They're now listening to offers on Scott Barlow. Now, we have been talking about him for probably about a year now. Around this time last year, we were looking at potential Scott Barlow trades. Kansas City Royals, there's no shock here. One of the worst teams in baseball. Probably would be one of the worst if the Athletics weren't as bad, right? But they are now like, all right, we're clearly not a competitive team, especially in a horrible AL Central. So it's time to ship off Scott Barlow. And if you're just a little more fresher on his numbers and who he is, guys, 30-year-old right-handed relief pitcher with some pretty darn good numbers. An ERA of 3.68 this year in 21 games with a whip of 1.136. And he does get the strikeouts occasionally. So Scott Barlow could be definitely a guy to be added. Now, I'm down for it. I mean, look, what is he going to cost? It's going to cost a little bit. What's his contract? I see you pulling it up right now.
I just pulled up the contract there to remind myself. He's got an additional year after this year. So he's got this year and then next year. And you're looking at, a guy like this is effectively an Eric Swanson caliber of player that just has a little bit less time, right? You would be having to give up a decent amount to get him. The issue with the Toronto Blue Jays and this trade deadline specifically, and this is something that we're going to continuously run into, is our prospect system is starting to get depleted. I think a lot of us right now are realizing it's like, damn, guys, when we look at the top 100 prospects in the MLB, there's not a lot of Toronto Blue Jays names there anymore because we have given those to other teams to acquire guys like Jose Barrios and among others, right? So that's going to be an issue that we're running into. And then, if you don't want to give up prospects, you have to give up starting players, which is another thing that we're not going to want to do either, right? So I think if we're going to be going into this trade deadline and buying dudes, Scott Barlow would be phenomenal, but we do need to come to terms with the fact that something's going to need to give if it is going to happen. You know?
I mean, you want to keep on shipping off your guys. People say, oh, we'll give up like a middle prospect. I'm like, well, those middle prospects are going to be your top prospects in a few years down the line. So if you ask yourself, wait, where are all our top prospects? Well, you ship them off.
We gave them away.
You ship them all off a little bit, many years ago. And I don't think there is a Toronto Blue Jay on the squad that you really could ship off. Like, I mean, people always talk about Kevin Biggio or Santiago Espinal, but first of all, I don't think Kevin Biggio's even worth the value of a Scott Barlow.
Wouldn't be
not even close.
Not remotely close.
Pitching is way more valuable than a position player, especially at Biggio's level right now, where he's almost worth nothing. Like, no offense. And then I guess you could say Espinal, but I think we also need Espinal.
They're not close.
They're not close to Scott Barlow. No. That's the thing, and that you'd have to do Espinal on a prospect. So that's the only way I could possibly see that happening without giving up a lot of high-end, prospects.
Yeah. Now, all of this being said, though, I still think that I want to get this guy. If there is a reality out there where we can do it, then make the trade, because at the end of the day, 2023 and 2024, when we started this podcast several years ago, this was supposed to be the World Series years. We were always talking 2023 and 2024. This was supposed to be the time. So if we have an exceptional month of June where we're sweeping teams like the New York Mets, where we're having weeks where we go 5-1, then that to me is enough of a reason to give up some more prospects, because at that point, it's like, all right, you know what, we're here, we're doing this. But I need to see that first before we start shipping off the rest of the future to continuously bring in guys and then try them out and then let them walk into free agency, because we've been doing this for several seasons now.
Yeah, and you also got to hope that the current guys we have on the team actually just do better, man.
Like, I want that.
I'm just so sick and tired. I'll be honest. I am so sick and tired of being like, let's keep bringing in all these guys from the outside. I'm just losing it right now. I had this thought the other day. I'm like, I'm tired of it. We have to go trade this guy. Trade the guy. When we're trading for people at the deadline, it should be to complement the current guys on our team, not to take the jobs of the current guys on our team. So Scott Barlow, he wouldn't be taking Romano's job or Swanson's job. He'd be coming in and complementing the back end of the rotation. But I'm sure we can go out and find guys to do that aren't going to cost an arm and a leg. So I don't think we're going to have a flashy deadline to kind of wrap up the little deadline notes. I don't think we're going to have a flashy deadline. We're going to have a smart, complementary deadline.
I hope so, dude. Right? I hope so. One final note of a player that was getting rumored and talk about here. We do want to be relatively quick with this one because, frankly, guys, I'm not sure if this is a dude that we need to be going after. But shout out to Blue Jays Nation here. They released an article talking about Zach Plesac and asking the question, could he be a worthwhile reclamation project for the Toronto Blue Jays? Short answer.
I'm going to
Probably
say no.
not.
I'm going to say no, guys. I mean, look, he is 28 years old. I mean, there is maybe a little bit time to work with him and make him maybe find something that he had way back when he first came up. Like, when he first came up, look at 228. Just in 8 games, excuse me. But then 25 games doesn't really have it. 24 games started doesn't really have it. And it looks like he's still being a starting role. Now, right now, our starters, if you think about our depth right now, and this has been a conversation that we talked about for a while, like, our depth, I mean, you've got Mitch White, who's rehabbing right now, and then you're going to have Hyun-Jin Ryu come back. Like, do you want another kind of project question mark to add in a rotation as your depth? Maybe if he's really cheap and you want to pick him up and add him to the 40-man, if you can make that work somehow logically, but you don't really want to be adding a project right now to a competitive ball team.
In my opinion, the biggest project right now is going to be Hyun-Jin Ryu and Alek Manoah. Those are our big projects. And if those projects work out, even if one of those projects works out, our rotation looks phenomenal. Right? And, you know, imagine, 2 years ago, 1 year ago even, saying, man, if we could just have Hyun-Jin Ryu or Alek Manoah be good at baseball, right? It's like, that seems ridiculous to say, right?
I know.
That's where we're at right now, but I do believe that is our biggest pitching projects, and if one of those guys can come and can figure it out, Alek Manoah, if he can just get his game back in order, or Hyun-Jin Ryu, if he can come back, he can show just a little bit of that 2024, that 2019 form, or anything like that, then that solves the problems there. That really solves the problems, and I don't need to be bringing in other issues to add to this freaking thing, eating up potential innings and taking away playing time from those guys.
Hey, I think maybe at worst, at best, Zach Plesac, he comes to the team and he's a long reliever in the bullpen. Because we don't really have like a long man. Like we have, Trevor Richards, who, like, I'm going to give a big shout out to. I haven't been doing this much this year, but he's actually putting up a good year this year.
Silently doing pretty well.
Yeah, the changeup's felt. The changeup, I don't know what happened. It was sometime last year, bro, where like he just said, screw everything else. I'm gonna work everything off my changeup, put it in the batter's mind, and then his fastball became lethal, and his changeup's always been lethal. So that's kind of been the secret sauce. So I mean, he's been our only guy who can go 2 innings, but a guy who can come out and give you 3-4 in a big blow up situation.
I would love that.
Dude, can actually shut you down.
That could be an actual potential. Yeah. We're finding it right now. I mean, dude, that is the potential situation right there, where we go out, we get a Zach Plesac, guys, comes in to blow up games and just pitches a few innings for us. We're seeing a lot of potential predictions coming in here, guys, looking at guys that we can trade for. So I do think that very soon we're going to be making a lot more content talking about and evaluating your predictions for potential targets for these Blue Jays. But we would be remiss if we didn't get onto the topic of the sweep that happened in New York.
Yeah,
bro. May was bad. May was rough, dude. Yeah. May was rough. And I made a video and I posted it out on Saturday. I made it a few days before Saturday because we were away at the Cardinals and I couldn't do it.
We were.
And it was all about the Toronto Blue Jays and how they were gonna blow up. And I had a lot of reasons. There was definitely, some good reasons there. But man, I was just crossing my fingers and I was praying and I was like, please, for the love of God, let this be the turning point.
I know.
Let me be right about something. And thank God that at least we were able to hit that one on the head right there, because we have turned it around.
We have turned it around, guys. And I wanted to also, you said it in your video, you talked about how recently the Blue Jays have been playing a lot better. And if we look at just our team stats over the last 15 days now, you can see that we're 4th in baseball in OPS, up to 820 now. Yeah. We've seen a lot of guys starting to come around at the same place. George Springer, Bo Bichette, Vladdy, who last week a topic conversation was what's wrong with him. He's back. No worries. Brandon Bell, like, actually his own team calling him MVP.
Yeah, what is that about?
We gotta find out like tomorrow. They're gonna find out why, because that's a funny storyline. Because I would have called him MVP, but he is silently putting up MVP numbers.
Yeah, I mean,
May.
I don't know the exact numbers, but well over 300 batting average in the month of May, Dude, from that point
500 on base, they said. Close to a 500 on base percentage in that time.
That actually does sound
That sounds MVP.
That sounds ridiculous. And a massive shout out does go out to Brandon Belt for today's game specifically. dude was getting hit hard with the umpire.
Oh, the umpire was
some
screwing
bad
him.
strikeouts,
Yup.
some bad strikeouts,
Yup.
but the guy stayed in that game and then delivered a 2-run shot. I think it was the 7th or the 8th inning, something like that.
Yeah.
But to take the lead again, and that was absolutely massive, dude. We needed that so bad.
He's been so good. You know, I mean, just an overall storyline for the Toronto Blue Jays. We have been looking for a left-handed power hitter.
Yes.
A power hitter for the last few years now, and we found him. It's Brandon Belt,
It's
guys.
here.
He's here. We all talked about the injury coming off last year, and yeah, we had a lot of question marks, and rightfully so, around Brandon Belt. But I think he's healthy, bro.
Yeah.
He looks healthy. He's going to get his strikeouts, but what power hitter doesn't? Look at Teoscar Hernandez. We just flipped Teoscar Hernandez on the other side of the plate. Now it's Brandon Belt.
Brandon Belt is what I wanted Dalton Varsho to be.
I agree.
You know, and
agree.
as much as we have been on Dalton Varsho's case, absolutely, because again, so much assets was given up to acquire this guy and to bring him into the team. So you do need him to pan out, especially based on how the other guys are doing. Brandon Belt is kind of making up for that, and it just at least helping me forget that we gave up, the #1 overall prospect in baseball to get this left-handed bat, because he is filling in the role, at least in the lineup, that we wanted Dalton Varsho to be.
Dude, at the end of the day, if you could just be at the end of the day, like, who cares what we give up or who we trade or who we sign? If we just go deep in a postseason run, that's all we're trying to do here.
That's literally all we need.
And we're just taking a look real quick at Brandon Belt's numbers. Yeah, OPS of 785 right now. That's starting to climb, everybody. And I'm just looking at his splits right now for just the month of May. It's got to be something ridiculous, because I need to know if he was MVP. I mean, last 28 days, yeah, he's got a 958 OPS.
Phenomenal.
That's phenomenal.
Also,
man.
somebody in the chat right here saying Lindsey Ross, Belt spoke to Hazel afterwards, and they had a good laugh about the MVP chant. They said that they call Belt MVP purely because he told them to. So the big old veteran out here calling the shots, saying, "Hey, listen, you youngsters, I'm the MVP on this team, all right?
Yeah.
I'm the MVP over here. Hey, listen, respect, dude. If you're hitting 2-run shots and taking the lead, we'll call you whatever the hell you want, man.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll call you whatever the hell you want."
I agree. No, that's definitely one guy that I definitely wanted to know this week that did amazing, and that's hilarious. But let's talk about that, shall we? Let's talk about this week and then kind of trickle down into the details. So we went 5-1 on the week. I think we predicted a 3-3.
I think we said 3-3, but 4-2 if we
4-2
could.
if we
4-2
could.
would be very nice.
Yeah.
3-3 was the safe prediction. 5-1, that is phenomenal. And
Yeah.
it just goes to show how quickly the narrative
Yes, it
changed
does.
in the MLB, right? A week and a half ago, Blue Jays
God.
fans were down bad.
Dude,
a week and a half ago, I think all of us were sitting around here in last place. We were wondering, oh my God, is this actually going up in smoke right now?
Dude, not to throw you on the bus, but I got a text from you a week ago, and you were like, "Dude, guys, I'm just coming to the face with the reality of the Blue Jays might might sell.
Well,
they might sell.
It was the first time that I had the legitimate thought of, oh my God, do we need to think about that? Is it possible, right?
Yeah.
Hell, even Jeff Passan made a whole freaking thing about it. I'm hoping that is not the case, guys.
No.
And weeks like this, they really reinforce that. This is a good ball team. They go through bad stretches, and that's something that you actually said to me prior to this show. We had an incredible month of April to start this thing off. 19-8. But since that point, it has been very streaky.
It's been very streaky. Went on a big cold streak. I think it was Boston. Right when the calendar flipped to May, we had Boston series. That one where we got swept 4 games. That was a bad stretch. And then we went on a good hot stretch. And we're like, oh, okay, now we're all fine again. And then we had that bad stretch against the AL East teams. And we were like, oh, we're in the dumps. But then here we are, not facing AL East teams, doing well again. So, I mean, the one thing that I guess there's 2 things we can make a note of this, of what the schedule is telling us so far is, A, we're a streaky team. We seem to be a little inconsistent still on our, which is unfortunate. However, you could also say, we're really good against non-AL East teams, but we're not good against AL East teams, and that's a problem.
That it's going to be a problem eventually.
In the postseason, we gotta be good.
That will be a problem eventually, considering probably most of the American League postseason teams are going to come from the AL East.
That's probably a wild card matchup right there.
That's a September issue.
That
is a problem for later on down the line, man. We got to make it there first. So if we can just dummy other ball clubs to make it there.
Yeah, we just got to get there.
I'll take it, dude, and then we can address that issue when it comes. But Milwaukee, they're a solid team. We took them for a ride, and the New York Mets. Quick sidetrack right here.
Go ahead.
What the hell is happening
I
in
have
New York?
no idea.
$350 million.
I think it's closer to 400 with the luxury tax. Like
it is a ridiculous amount of money that these guys are spending on an annual basis.
Yeah.
And now I actually truly do believe that people are going to have to be on the phone calling them about selling.
Oh, they
People
might.
are going to...
Well, guys, shout out to our Mets fan in here saying absolute pain right now. I mean, I hear you. Yeah. Because you might be selling.
It is.
I don't know. I don't think they will, though. I don't think they actually will.
I don't think that they will either, but I mean, if the Atlanta Braves have like a 10-game lead on them, which is it's looking like they could at that point, like it's going to be hard not to at least come to terms a little bit with that. You know, even though Steve Cohen is a crazy, mad, individualistic buyer, he is also a businessman. And you have to imagine that if it comes down to it where he's looking at all these numbers and it's like, holy shit, we're not going to make playoffs, but I'm getting a sweet deal on this player.
Yeah.
Maybe he pulls the trigger. I don't know. That's food for thought, guys. You guys attack it in the comments.
Yeah. My only thoughts on the Mets right now, it's like, again, it's the same narrative, like, can you actually buy a baseball team? Because, you know, you see a lot of teams, like, for example, the Houston Astros, right? We're disregard the cheating, of course, but you look at how they started from nothing. They were bad in like early 2010 era. And then they home grew a lot of talent, you know, George Springer being a big part of that, and Jose Altuve and Carlos Correa. And then they go and they make the additional pieces in their rotation to become an elite team, and that's how they've been good for so long. Now they're turning over with a lot of their still homegrown talent, and they add on complementary pieces, and that's how they're doing good. Right, and they're actually back and they're in a wild card spot now, so they're going to be right there.
Granted, and we do see this comment right here, Rangers bought their team too.
That's the other flip side.
That's the other flip side, right? So you got the Rangers working out, and they're firing on all cylinders. They are going to be a postseason team. Mets, not so much right now.
Granted, you do have a lot, and I mean, you could say the same argument with the Mets. You do have a few homegrown talents on those Rangers teams. They definitely bought their rotation. 100% they bought their rotation.
They did.
But like, didn't kind of we did as well? You know? Except for
I don't know, man. This is what I'm saying. I think the Mets are just a strange team. It is a weird ball team, and you think if you spend $350 to $400 million on anything, it should be good. And that is not the case right now. Either way, let's take a look at some of our players who kicked ass this week. Obviously, Brandon Belt did pretty good. Who else did well?
Yeah, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., like I kind of mentioned a little bit before, you know, he bounced back in a big way. 8 for 24. He got his first homer.
He did.
Other than Luke Raley, since off an actual pitcher in a month.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of wild, since May 4th. So shout out to Vladdy. He's back. Merrifield doing it again with the batting average. He had a great week. I went 9 for 24, I believe. I haven't updated, but I'm doing it off the game. 9 for 24. That's amazing. Kirk, even though it's all singles, he went 6 for 15, so he's doing well.
Hell yeah.
But the big note, the offense has been good, but the big note has been that rotation, man. Huge shout out to Jose Barrios, who actually looks like he's back, man. Are you ready to say he's back?
I'm maybe like one start away. I'm one start away from like jumping on the train fully. You know? But once I'm on the train, Adam, I'm not getting off the train.
Can't get off the train.
You know what I mean? So it's like once I'm on, I'm gonna be on for the year right now. So I'm like one more start away from fully committing and being like, this guy is officially 100% back. But I am very close.
Here's why I am on the train. I was kind of looking at the train earlier this year, and you know me, I was like, oh no, God,
I'm scouting out my ticket right now.
Jose Barrios, you know, here it is. You know, but I'm on the train right now because look, I didn't study. I made a video. I had to do some research on how Jose Barrios could get better this offseason, and it was straight up to do with his fastball and his slurve. Switch the amount of usages you use for it. Just literally flip it and attack with your slurve, and guess what he's doing?
Doing that.
Exactly that, and guess what's happening? Last 10 starts, he has an ERA, I think, of around 258 or 256.
Phenomenal.
He's back. He's back. Gosman, always amazing. No earned runs, 6 2/3 innings pitched. And then Bassett, who then pitches 7 2/3 innings pitched, no earned runs, has to then go and get his child delivered this week, who we still haven't known if he is child delivered, so we'll keep you up to date on that. For real. But like, just pitches a gem, and then it's like, oh crap, I gotta go see my baby.
He's got the new dad energy.
He's got the dad energy.
He's got the new dad energy.
Crazy.
This was a perfect storm for Chris Bassett, guys. Old team, new dad energy, right? It doesn't get better than that, baby. Yeah, he was phenomenal. All of that being said, folks, I do believe it is time to announce this week's Jay of the Week.
Yes, well, I mean, hey, he's going to become a dad soon.
Yeah, we kind of gave it
away. But hey, Chris Bassett, everybody, is your Jay of the Week this week.
Well earned.
Gotta love to see it, man.
That's some daddy energy right there,
Yeah,
baby. Listen,
yeah.
I'm so happy with this signing so far, man. Chris Bassett, again, like, Alek Manoah is kind of in his own... He's in his noggin right now. He's doing his own thing, right?
He's
but
working on it.
he would, if he was doing this, what he's doing right now, and we didn't have Chris Bassett, we didn't have Kevin Gausman, we didn't have any of these other guys doing what they're doing right now, I mean, like, I think we're in last place again.
Dude,
I think we're in last
know.
place. Like, this signing has been massive to just giving us some depth in our freaking rotation. I love it so much.
I agree, man. I mean, just looking at the ERAs, you have two of our pitchers in the 3.
Yeah.
And then you have Kevin Gausman in the 2. And then you got a 4 and then a 5. So we're kind of have a very similar rotation to last year. But honestly, kind of a little bit better. The overall product is a little bit better. And so if Alek Manoah actually does bounce back,
We're kicking ass. We are kicking ass, dude. And again, too, Hyunjin Ryu, this guy could literally be like, I could see this guy like flown in, you know, like the heavens raining down the state. If he is good at baseball, I'm gonna be praying to Hyunjin freaking Ryu, bro.
Dude, I'm gonna hop on the Hyunjin Ryu like Cy Young like late season
1,000%, dude. 1,000%. I didn't think this guy was ever gonna pitch for us again.
No,
but to have
never.
him come back and to actually like, if he can be good, oh my god.
I don't want to get myself so hyped up because I already have a feeling like he won't be. You know?
Don't say it, man. Don't listen. You've seen how lean he is. You've seen
I
how
know
lean
he's looking
He's
sexy.
looking trim, man.
So sexy.
He's looking trim and lethal. He's looking like he does not want to be done in the
No,
MLB,
no.
dude. He wants
He's trying to get
another
another payday.
He wants to get another contract
Yeah, of
after this,
course,
bro.
of
So
course.
I honestly think that he could do very well. So shout out to Chris Bassett. Shout out to all of our pitchers for absolutely kicking ass and for boosting those numbers and beating some good teams. Competition this week. It is going to be tough again, guys. In fact, I would argue that it's going to be even tougher than this past week. 7 straight games against, I believe that still, is Houston a division leader, or are they still
in
behind
the wild
Texas?
card. They're behind Texas.
They're behind Texas right now.
But they're better than us.
But still, teams that are pretty damn good at baseball. We're going to have 4 games against the Houston Astros and 3 games against the Minnesota Twins, everybody.
Yeah,
let's go through this one.
It's tough. Like you see there, 4 games against the Astros. And if you can see here in the last few games, they are, 9th in OPS. They got a good offense, and they also know that they do got some good pitching. However, they are dealing with a few injuries in that rotation right now. And they got some guys, when I was writing down their names, I was like, who are these men? Like, I actually have never heard these guys. But guess what? The Houston Astros, they have good pitching, and they're good as well. Leading off on Monday, we've got Alek Manoah. He's going to get the ball. We know he's been struggling. We don't know what we're going to get. Up against, I'm going to totally butcher his name, Belak?
Yeah,
it's B-I-E-E.
I think it is that,
Belak.
actually. I think it's Belak. Yeah, you guys correct us phonetically in the comments or anything like that. Never heard of this dude in my life.
Never, but he's got a 3.19 ERA, and he actually is coming off some pretty good starts recently.
That's Houston for you, baby.
That's Houston.
That is Houston. And this is why I don't want to hammer this horse right now, but this is why, as much as I do want to bring in so much talent,
I know,
having some prospects every
just
now
to
and again
come up and be good
would be good for us. Just keep that in mind, everyone. Just keep that in mind.
Anyways, but then on Tuesday we've got Kevin Gausman, probably undoubtedly at this point, our ace of the Toronto Blue Jays.
He's our number 1.
He's going up against Brown, who's got a 3.61 ERA. However, he had his first start where he went beyond 1 innings. Like, I think it was just an opener. Then he was allowed to go 5 innings last time, and he gave up 5 earned runs. So we'll see. That could be a little bit of an easy win there with our ace on the mound.
Okay.
Then you have Chris Bassett, hopefully, at this point, if his baby's delivered at this time. We'll have Chris Bassett on Wednesday up against Blanco, 4.15 ERA. He's more of a long man in that rotation. And then Thursday, you have Jose Barrios doing very well up against Valdez, who's having Cy Young caliber year, 2.16 ERA.
He's phenomenal, man. I'll be honest. He's literally the only guy out of all this rotation that I recognize and that I know is going to be elite. Houston's always going to be a problem, man. Granted, this series is at the Rogers Center. However, on the flip side, you're going to have Alek Manoah, and these days, you really have no idea what's going to come from those starts.
However, you are going to have arguably our 3 best pitchers after him in Gausman, Bassett, and Barrios, the hottest pitchers right now for the Jays. For me, Because it's at Rogers Center, you got to get at least a split here against a wild card team.
I'm feeling that, well, minimum should be a split.
Minimum should be a split.
I think the minimum should be a split, and I will be happy with a split against Houston because I know, just this caliber of opponent is freaking phenomenal. However, we want to carry in that momentum, the MVP, Brandon Belt momentum into the Rogers Center. I do think that we can go 3-1 here, and that is going to be my official prediction.
Okay, let's go.
I'm feeling the hype right now, and I'm hoping that the Blue Jays are as well. 3-1.
I hope so, man. That'd be really, really good if the Blue Jays can do that. And then you got them on Friday here, still at the Rogers Center. The Twins, we're seeing them again. They're coming back, and they're facing us. On Friday, we're going to have Kikuchi for a 40 ERA up against, this is going to be some tough pitching matchups. We missed these guys last time, but we're getting them this time.
Yeah.
Sonny Gray, 2.15 ERA, another Cy Young caliber pitcher so far this year. And then on Saturday, Alek Manoah again up against Joe Ryan, yet another Cy Young caliber pitcher. And then Gosman, he'll be finishing off on Sunday against Varlin. He's got a 3.51 respectable ERA. That's going to be very, very tough. What are you saying that weekend?
Okay, listen, guys. I'm feeling the hype, but I'm also not going to get super greedy here. I think if we won that series, that'd be like 6 series wins in a row.
Yeah.
That just feels like a little bit too many for me.
Yeah.
And those pitchers do look really good at baseball. You got Alek Manoah going. You do have Yusei Kikuchi going, right? These are our 2 worst guys right now. I do think that we're going to lose 2 there, and we do take 1.
Okay, yeah. I think I'm going to go the same way. I think we're going to lose 2 there. I want to say we take it. Like, our offense has been clicking really well. Like, can we get to Sonny Gray and Joe Ryan? Can we get to one of them? Absolutely. I think our offense has the ability to do that. Like, we're getting hot at the right time, but it is very tough. And if I'm giving a safe prediction, God, that means I'd be making us go 3-4 on the week, which is not great.
Oh, are you saying 2-2 against Houston?
Yeah, 2-2 against Houston.
Okay. See, I'm saying 3-1 right now against
I know.
Houston. Guys, over here. 4-3. That's what's happening.
That's what I
week.
want, man. I don't want to go 3-4, but if I were to put safe, we're at home at the Rogers Center.
We're at home
I don't
at the
like
Rogers
it.
Center. We're hot right
I don't
now.
like it.
I don't think.
We're taking 2-1. I'm gonna go 2-1 on the weekend
All right.
because I think the offense is just gonna get so hot.
Okay.
Like, we're gonna see an explosion of offense against these Twins. We smacked them around last time. Smack them around this time at the Rogers Center.
I don't see us. I don't think that we can go 3-4 this week. Not at home, man.
No, we can't do it.
That would be a very disappointing week if we do 4-3 against 2 very good teams, both teams that could win their respective divisions. I would be very happy with that, man. So 4-3 is going to be our official predictions.
Let's go.
We have to get to our other predicting segment, but before we do, a massive shout out to the sponsor of that segment.
Whoa! Time for your daily Betway breather. A quick reminder that the best place to bet is on Betway. Must be 19 years of age or older to play. In collaboration with iGaming Ontario, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
Fortune, baseball, colorful, future determining, stat analyzing, and it's a wheel that we spin every week.
Yes, it is a wheel that we spin every single week, guys. And as you can see, Nick is pounding me.
What's going on, man?
Dude, this is what happened. 1 earned run for Burrios, 0 for Gosman. I mean, Gosman was a choice, obviously. 1 RBI for Springer, 2 RBIs for Bichette, and then the OPS, I think Bichette had like a mid 600 and Springer had like a low 700. And you got me. They actually didn't even do that well this week, other than the pitchers. And that's what happens.
One more week like this, bro, and I think
that
we just gotta have like a broom somewhere in the set. I think because this is getting a little bit too frequent, buddy.
I know.
You gotta stop the bleeding here.
I got to. It's my week,
this
though.
Is your week. This is your week. So I do think this has got to be your week to get back a few categories.
Yeah.
What is this? 12? That's 4
a lot.
sweeps.
I know.
You've
You've swept me, I think, 4 times.
I
think you've swept me about 4 times. At least 3 times. So.
That would make sense.
All right, let's spin it. Go. I want to win.
Let's
I want to
spin
win.
this thing, baby. What's it gonna be?
And guys, let us know in the chat too. Who are you picking for these categories? We want to see as well. And we've got for the first category, it's going to be home runs.
Home runs. All right, 7 games. Tough pitchers, tough teams we're facing up against. Who did good this past week? I know Vladdy got 1. I know At least got one.
Galt got one. Vladik. We're not a home run hitting team like we used to be. Bichette had one. Springer had one. I think everyone had one. Other than Chapman, Merrifield.
Okay,
yeah.
Here's the thing. The entire chat right now, the
Saying
entire
Vlad.
chat of 137 people, shout out to you guys right now, guys. If you haven't already liked and subscribed to the channel, please do so. But the entire chat is saying Vladdy. Now, we are at home.
Exactly. How am I going to say he's going to hit a home run at the Rogers Center? I just don't feel good.
He legitimately has not done that in the year of 2023. You know?
I know. So I want to take a look here at, you guys can't see it, but just for Nick and I, who's actually leading. Bo Bichette has the most home runs on the team.
Bo has the most by 3 right now.
Yeah, you know what? I'll go first, and I'm gonna take Bo Bichette. I feel like he's locked in. He's locked in for the best All-Star on the team. He's the best player.
Yeah, I mean, at this current standpoint, if you had to choose an MVP for the team, do we think it's Bo?
Yeah,
probably.
He's MVP.
It's between him or Gosman for me, and I think that right now Bo is still edging them out. I'm going to take the chat's advice.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. did. You know, he is going to hit home runs at the Rogers Center. Eventually. Could this be the week, man? Could this be the week? You know, he has one big one this past week. I think it might happen, guys. I'll take Vlad and I'll be happy about it.
All right, let's spin it again, shall we?
Here we go.
Come on, baby. I need a lock. I need the freaking ERA one.
Yeah.
Give me the ERA one.
Yeah, the ERA one is
Jay Killer.
This is the funnest one, man. I love this one. All
right, I gotta think here. If I'm gonna let you go, if it makes me an advantage for me to go. Is there there's no walk pitching. There is Valdez, who's really good. It's also Sonny Gray, who's really good.
I mean, there's multiple really good pitchers here.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's tough. I mean, it really doesn't matter. And I don't really feel good about taking a position. You know, screw it. I'll go first, and I'm going to take the matchup of Sonny Gray versus Kikuchi, and he's going to grab the win. Yeah, actually, no. Am I going to do that? Because then you got Joe Ryan against Alek Manoah. You know what I mean?
Well, it shouldn't matter because it's just how they do, right? Like Gray and Ryan. So.
Yeah. I have no clue. This is why this whole wheel's been frustrating because I have no idea. I don't know. What's the chat saying? Fermin Valdez. That was my other decision, but he's up against Jose Burrios, and that's the one I feel like we might have a chance with. You know what I mean? We might actually have a chance with, but who's on the two? So it's Houston. Ooh, yeah. Okay, I know who I'm gonna pick. Okay, I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna pick Yordan Alvarez.
That's who I wanted, man. I was hoping that you'd let me go first, bro.
No.
Because he is phenomenal so far.
I wasn't even thinking about position players. I was trying to get big brain with the matchups, but I'm gonna take.
I think that Yordan Alvarez is filthy, bro, and I just believe. Come on, he's too good at baseball these days. Yordan Alvarez is the way of it. Okay, I also need to take somebody from Houston as well, just simply because they have 4 games to the Minnesota's 3, so there's just a higher chance that this guy will pop off. I think that Kyle Tucker is going to be the way to go.
Okay.
I think Kyle Tucker is going to be the way to go, man. He's been pretty good this year, and I feel like he could put up numbers. So, all right, I will be going first on this next category. What's it gonna be?
Let's see.
Big time Bobs.
I know. Adam looks. I am. Hey, there's batting average, and you get to take the first one.
And I feel pretty confident that I will smash Bo Bichette for batting average right now, man.
Okay.
I think I can take that one pretty confidently.
That's pretty good. And you know what? Let's go BA. Okay, you took Vladdy for home runs. You took Bo Bichette for me.
Saying Kirk for batting. That's
Kirk's not bad, actually.
Not a bad selection.
Because he's gonna do it, and then I might actually do Kirk. Because here's the thing: I was gonna pick Vladdy, but then again, I'd be taking you. I'd be kind of splitting with you. Witt's not bad either. Witt's starting to heat it up.
Pretty good. I think either one of the that they're gonna slap singles.
Yeah,
they're going to hit singles. They'll probably hit around.
Popping off.
In the worst possible week, I would say that Kirk or Witt will hit 250. That's their
Witt's
worst.
A good one. Yeah, Witt's actually a good one because Witt this week, again he hit 9. It was 9 for 24. That's the best batting average of the week, better than Kirk. Screw it. I'm going to hit Witt. He's starting to heat up.
Fair enough, man. I don't think that's a bad selection at all, dude. I mean, the guy's almost batting 300 these days. He's been
He's
phenomenal.
batting over
He's
300
been-
now.
Honestly,
he's batting
dude,
over 300 now.
our team with all of these, like, you know, older veteran dudes,
It's
like,
great.
you know, just like Bassett and Belt and Whitmer and
Amazing.
Kiermaier,
Amazing,
you know, all these
right?
guys just rejuvenating their careers at
Right?
the bottom of our lineup.
Is that
like,
amazing? That's
bro,
amazing,
this
bro.
is what we needed. Like, when we were talking about this team a few
Yeah,
years ago, saying we
yeah.
have way too much youth,
We need veteran presence.
I think we
have
have the veteran presence right now,
Damn
man.
right. Damn right,
Guys,
guys.
comment down below who do you think is going to win this week, or literally just comment your thoughts on anything that we talked about in today's video, guys. Trade proposals, I think that we're going to start diving into those a lot more now that the hype is kind of starting to build. Now that we're really getting a sense as to what this team is and what we're made of and what we could potentially sell off, guys. So let us know your comments and your thoughts of trade proposals down below.
Yeah, guys, gonna get really interesting soon. And thank you so much for watching. And as always, guys,
Go Jays, go!